Yes, yes, yes. Man, am I excited. Well, two things. The football game this past Thursday night, we'll talk about that. I'm going to call him my celebrity guest in a minute. But unfortunately, we came up short. It is what it is. It's a long season. One game does not make a season. But I will tell you this. There's a lot to be excited about. This individual that I'm right now knows all about playing in the backyard brawl and big time ball on every level. He's none other than legendary offensive tackle number 77, Brian Jozwiak. So he's on my show, Relatively Sports with Eugene Napoleon. I'm excited to chop it up with him about Mountaineer football and everything under the sun. So with that being said, let's get my man on, Brian Jozwiak. There he is, my guy. Big Joe's, as I call you, my Mountaineer brother. How are you, man?
Brother, if I was any good or better, I don't know. I'm doing fantastic, Gene. I love you, man. I appreciate you letting me come on and talk a little bit, man. How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I love you. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're all over the place, man. So thank you, brother.
I don't know about that. I'm retired. I got no calendar, man. I just kind of float with the role, man. But it's all good. It's all good.
I know. So tell us a little bit about, I know Thursday night you were actually at the game. You were actually doing something with you and our other brother over there, the Wolfman, and a few other Mountaineer legends. A little bit about that.
Well, we decided we wanted to do something special for the Mountaineer fan. And what better way than to get a bunch of ex-football players, ex-Mountaineer legends, if you will. I mean, I'm one of those guys, Nap. I believe that everybody that ever wore that on the side of their helmet's a Mountaineer legend. The guys that get to play, and then those that are the look team guys during the week. Everybody has a major role in earning those wins. So we're all part of that. Anyway, we got together up there in Pittsburgh and had ourselves a kickoff to not only the Mountaineer Legends pregame show with Wolf and Jozwiak, but also an opportunity to get a bunch of other guys involved to, again, hey, talk Mountaineer football, talk Mountaineer memories, and talk about what's going on right now with the football program and where we're heading. And the list was fantastic. I was even blown away because, brother, there was some guys that showed up that I didn't know were going to be there. For instance, Blue Mullen was there, Gary Mullins, Boom Smalls, Freddie Smalls was there, Clarence Carlos. Heck, I ain't seen Calabus in 100 years. Daryl Talley was there, and Major Harris, and Aaron Beasley, and Mike Collins, and Big John Ray, and Mark Ulmer, and Rob Stock was there, and it was just really cool to get a bunch of guys together, get excited about not only Mountaineer football, but more importantly on Thursday night, brother, getting ready for the backyard brawl, and it's a heck of a brawl. I'll give Matt. Heck of a brawl, but we had a good time, and we're hoping to do this. We're actually heading to Myrtle Beach this coming weekend for the Kansas game. We're going to be down there at the Sundown in South Myrtle Beach, and trying to bring the Morgantown experience, to your watch party. And hey, man, we're keeping our fingers crossed, and hopefully we can do something and put a few more memories in there. Of course, we need the W's, baby. We need the W's, Absolutely. But hey, go ahead, man. It's all about the Mountaineer memories, right?
Absolutely. No, and that's the beautiful thing about it, man. You and I spoke about a day or two before that, and just leading up to that, there's a lot of things that come to mind. First off, I got to give you your flowers, and I always do, because Big Joe's, you're one of these people that the honesty is infectious. The core of who you are as a person is freaking awesome. And I felt that from the first time I met you. Here's what's funny. The first time I met you, me and AB transfer in from Pitt to WVU, and I met you on the sideline when the year we had to sit out. And
Oh,
the funniest thing, the embrace was so genuine, B, so genuine. I loved you from the start, bro. I'm like, this guy is so, because you didn't have to. That's the thing people don't understand. Life is a funny thing, man. And energy is a funny thing. Vibes is a funny thing. And when you don't feel that from a person, sometimes you can be real standoffish because you don't really know how that person's going to reciprocate to you, how
that's
they're going to
true.
you. And especially coming from Pitt. You know, look, that thing could have went south real quick. But
Yeah, but you made, hey, Nat, man, you made the right decision. You did what you had to do at the time you had to do it. And then you know what? Hey, all part of the plan. Things happen for reasons in this thing, man. You were talking about energy and karma, whatever you want to call it. I call it God's plan. And at the end of the day, things happen, you know, crosswords and junctions in life. And all of a sudden, you made the right choice and you became this guy right here.
absolutely.
Mountaineer legend. Hey, man, undefeated football season. You know how many people can stake claim to an undefeated college football season? Not many, not many. And you're part of that. So you know that Mountaineer legend moniker that we would carry. You know, it transcends and it goes all the way back to the 1800s when we started playing. So
Absolutely.
beautiful, beautiful stuff.
But that's what's beautiful once again about you. You don't take that stuff for granted, man. You know, I look back and obviously anybody that knows the history of West Virginia football, you know what it takes to play at that level, number one. You know what it takes to bust your gut to get to the next level. Any professional, that's the dream of any kid to go pro, right? Here it is. You're the seventh pick of the first round to the Kansas City Chiefs. How did that feel from transitioning from major college football into being the first round draft pick and balancing your life as a pro athlete, Joes?
Well, I wish I'd have known then what I know now, as we all say. Uh, you know, I, Nap, I don't think I took it for granted, but I you know, I was living in the moment. Uh, you know, training had a lot of great people around me, a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players. You know, to put myself in a position to be a high draft choice. Yeah, you know, you're blessed with talent, and you got to hone that talent, but it's impossible at anything to do it by yourself. And I had a lot of great coaches and an awesome strength coach, and I had some pretty good guidance along the way. My mom and dad, you know, Coach Nealon, a lot of people kicking this old hard head, you know, trying to keep them back on the path a little bit, knowing that there was a really nice big gold nugget at the end. And you know, again, I had it to do over again. You know, would I have done anything different? I don't know, because I like who I am now. But you know, there were probably some choices along the way that I could have made a little differently, that could have impacted. But you know, the shoulda, woulda, couldas, brother. You know, I don't live in the past. I try to live for right now and what's coming up for tomorrow, because you know that's the wonderment of it all is what happens next. I can't fix whatever happened in the past, and the only thing we could try to do is maybe learn from it, and incorporate it, and then pass that on down. You know, I've got a son and a daughter, and I try to give them as much of the wisdom as I can. But you know, the transition, first of all, to keep your feet on the ground. You know, as a college consensus All-American. I mean, you know, I was at the Yale Commons for the Walter Camp. I was on the Bob Hope Show. Heck, I'm even in Playboy magazine. You know, I got clothes on. You know, I'm not going to go there, but you know, and to, you know, doing the Bob Hope Show at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. You know, getting to do all those things and playing in the Hula Bowl, and none of that would have ever happened had it not been for, you know, Ron Wolfley and Scott Barrows and Rob Bennett and the great defenses that we had, et cetera. So there's a lot of credit to be given. Now I got to experience it, and then to be drafted that high. and to have such expectations placed on you, and to get there and, you know, have that really, really good first year out of the gate. And then my second year in the league, we went through a strike. We went through a lot of really, really tumultuous, is that a word? Times. And then you know, I got injured going into my third season, and that kind of ended the career. So it was short lived. So I never really got to wrap my head around it and become the pro. You know, I was a kid. I had married. I had a young daughter at the time, a baby. But you know, all of a sudden, you know, it's like being a rock star. You know, and as a youngster coming from, you know, I didn't have a whole lot of money when I grew up. You know, parents got me through it, and that was probably the biggest thing. Is now, you know, you got a little bit of money. You're living in a great house. You're driving whatever car you want to drive today, and you're like, you know, planning on playing for another 15 years and retire, play golf, and injury, bang, life changes. How many of us, brother, have gone through that where life changes on a dime, and now if you don't change with it, if you don't figure it out and get into a different direction and go full bore in that direction, it can leave you behind really quick and put you in bad ways. And you know, I'm very fortunate to have been able to have played in the league. And you know, again, you know, that master planner, for all the right reasons, looking back on it now, I got plucked out of that situation and placed into a path whereby, as an educator and a coach for the last 30 plus years, all those that I've been able to work with and touch and be part of their lives and so forth, I wouldn't trade that for nothing. All right. So, you know, things happen for reasons, man. I don't, and sometimes we look at it. Oh, hey, don't get me wrong, bro. When I got released, now I'll tell you a real quick story. You want to tell how ruthless it is as a first round draft choice? When I showed up on the day that I was released, when, you know, the Marty Schottenheimer regime came in and they were kind of cleaning house, and I was one of those injured guys. All right, so I got put on that list, and I had to go up and meet with Schottenheimer on that day. And when I showed up the locker room, and I looked over at my locker, and my name tag was already slid out of my locker bay, and all my stuff was in a big green bag in front. My shoes and all my stuff was in a bag on the floor in front of the locker. And Bud Epps, the athletic trainer, met me, and he had a kind of a sour look on his face. He goes, "Hey man, you got to go see Schottenheimer." And of course, I already knew what was going on. So it was like, Frank, you're out, gone. Well, I went through some rough times for about 6, maybe 8 months. I mean, really, really, you know, feeling sorry for yourself, blaming everybody else, the typical stuff that we go through anytime there's loss. We go through that cycle of loss, you know, and then we end up at depression, and then you cycle back out and you start all over again. However, you know, some of us can get through that in just a few minutes, depending on the intensity of that loss. You know, I lost my mom a couple of years ago. That really kind of stunk. I lost a set of keys the other day. You know, I found them a little bit later. You go through the same process, but you might go quick. You know, it happens, you know, right here, denial, bargaining, and all that stuff. And then you get through it and you're done. And then you move on. That I was in a bad place for a little while. And it took a few folks to kind of bat me over the head and say, "Hey, you know, brother, you're only 27 years old. Let's go. You got a whole lifetime." And I was fortunate that I got guided into a great situation and went down to Wesleyan down there in Buchanan and got a master's degree in education and coached there for 8 years, and then went to the high school level in Florida, and just retired from it last July. So a fulfilling, wonderful experience. It's been fun, man. My life, we all get this chance to write our own book, so to speak. Our life is our book, and it's page by page. If you want to look at it as every day a page, okay, then I got really fortunate because a lot of my days were pages long. The stuff I got to do and be part of and see and experience, and the people I've met. I mean, that one day is just pages and pages so very blessed to be here. Ups and downs, all about it. Here we sit having a conversation on this beautiful Labor Day 2022. Hey, I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
I know that's right. That's the reason why, man, I love you so much, because the information.
I love you too, Nat. Thanks.
Definitely, bro. It's informative. And this is what I think a lot of young people should understand, and they should hear these type of conversations because it's much needed, number one. Number two, if you don't get it from someone like yourself, who are you going to get it from? Because this is firsthand information. You understand what I'm saying? So I look at even the reason why you were in, at Pittsburgh and the things that, you were doing last Thursday night, I got to ask you your opinion because we've shared this. We've played in a few of these backyard brawls.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you something, and I know it's controversial. I know it is because I did my post game right after the game, and I was fired up. I can't lie.
Right.
I was stuck on how well JT Daniel what is it Donaldson. Okay, no.
You're thinking about CJ Donaldson,
there's
the
CJ
freshman
Donaldson.
phenom.
Thank you. That's who I'm thinking of. Listen, he's running up and down the field. It's 4th and 1. I believe we're at our 48 or 47, somewhere in there. 6 minutes left in the game. And I'm thinking at that moment, okay, there's two things. I'm calling the timeout. I'm going to my O-line, and I'm saying, listen, we're going to get 1 yard, and we're going to salt this game away. Either we're going to end this thing with a field goal and win by 10, or we're going to take this thing down and smack them in the mouth and win by 14. But I need 1 yard. And if you want to be known as one of the best offensive lines in the country, you got to strain for 1 yard. And I'm going to turn to my big boy, CJ, and say, get me 1 yard. Now, I know how Coach feels about this. I've heard his post-game, interviews, and I know he stands on punting it for good reason because of the way the defense was playing. But at the end of the day, I got to ask your opinion, if you don't mind. What did you think of that call in the moment, because you were there when it happened? What did you think of that call?
Let me ask you. I'm with you. All right. As an offensive lineman, all right, let me try to spit this out. The comment that was made in the post game about the decision to go ahead and punt, defense is playing good, 6 minutes left in the game, I'm going to make them go 90-something yards. What's the difference if your defense is playing that damn good that if you do get stuffed and it's
right.
1st and 10, now your defense is against the wall a little bit and you're going to protect that end zone anyway. And again, we can always second guess everything. But, what if that punt gets blocked for a touchdown? There's so many what if variables. But the bottom line is we had to go, a foot and a half tops, right?
Yeah.
And I'm with you, and as an offensive lineman, I'm going to be in that huddle yelling and screaming at the guys saying, 1 play, man. All we need is 1 play. Because then we'll worry about everything else. That moment, if you can't get a yard, then they win. But put it on the backs. You've been touting this offensive line. you got this kid on fire back here gaining positive yardage I don't think he got negative yards. I don't know. What I saw, I don't remember him getting stuffed ever.
I don't think he did. CJ played lights out. I was very impressed. I was impressed with the overall performance of our team because people don't understand. You throw the records out the window. I don't care. Pitt and West Virginia, it doesn't matter what the records are, simply because of what the magnitude of the game is. That's why I'm going by the flow of the game. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you get in the ball, they're scoring, give us the ball, we're scoring, back and forth, back and forth. You needed to break that. That would have been the optimum time to do it. But I get it. I do understand. Like you said, Joe, you could second guess it now because it's over, right? The reality of it is it was a heck of a game that we played. It gave me a real good glimpse of how good this team could potentially be this year. I really think we got 8 to 9 wins in us, for sure. I'm confident that people may feel one way or the other about it, but we're better off now than what we were 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, look at what this guy had to come in on. First of all, he had to start off in a polar opposite culture than what Holgorsen had. Holgorsen was pedal to the metal over this way, and this guy comes in family man, everything, family oriented culture. So that right there, then you get hit in the face with COVID. Then you got to deal with NIL and how the portal goes and mushroom clouds into this beast. And this all happened in 3 years. Plus you got to go out and recruit and get guys in that are going to fit your program. I mean, come on, man. The guy, and on top of that, he's never been a Power 5 guy. I mean, he's learning right now still yet how to coach in the Power 5. Evident in bringing in an offensive coordinator after his 3rd year. Okay, so those decisions. I'm gonna go back real quick to what you said about the game, the face of the game, the momentum of the game, and how the motion of that game moves. I saw our guys with an enthusiasm and a demeanor and a togetherness really that I haven't seen in the last few years. I saw some swarms. I saw that in the end there, towards the end, we were making some big plays and the fire in that defense. We were doing some good stuff. Coach Nealon used to tell us all the time, you got during any game of that magnitude where you got 2 legitimate football teams going to do battle, and on paper, yeah, Pitt might have had a little bit of an edge, but pretty even as far as I was concerned, looking at things as how many guys are coming back and how many youngsters are playing and all that stuff, but at the end of any football game, you can go back through and count them, and you can usually count them pretty accurately. There's about 5 plays in every game that determine its outcome. And you just never know when those 5 plays are coming. So as a cog in the machine, I've got to do my job. I got to get my job done to the best of my ability at every given time. And if everybody can do that, we got a chance. We really got a chance. But when the bad stuff happens, how do you respond to that? What's next? What do you do next? You got to have short-term memory. You can't think about what just happened right now because it's going to affect my ability to do the job at that moment. And I thought we did a pretty good job of that. Now it was a shame, because we can nitpick it all, and hey, that FW for Wheaton, man, that kid is an absolute menace. I mean, he can play, but
he's going to be
you look at that, and God bless him, that one play. But then, it's the punt decision. It's the real critical, questionable, but critical targeting call that kind of cost us. The catch at the end zone where he kind of scooped it. this angle, that angle, this angle. But the bottom line is, if the receiver's hands are under the ball, even if it bounces and changes direction, so long as my hand's under the ball, it didn't touch the ground. So he can move all at once. Anyway, all that aside, the bottom line is there's a handful of plays that determine the outcome of every given game, and you know that. And you just don't know when they're coming, but they're coming.
Right.
They're coming. You can't, there ain't no such thing as a perfect game, ever. It has never happened. There's never been a perfect game. I mean, in the greatest game you've ever played, you never graded out 100%.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I used to think I played great and I got graded out 71, and I'd be like, hey, Michael, what the heck is this grade? And he said, you remember this play and this play and this play? And because you know what? It was always about the littlest of things.
That's right.
First step, that hand placement, that very first thing you did. Every little thing matters to the whole thing. And that's the game. Every little thing matters. And we made some mistakes. They made some mistakes. Did we make more than they did? Yeah, probably. And they're a pretty daggone good football team. But hey, what a great crowd. What a great, fan. And it hurts. It hurts you. It hurts me. It hurts all of our Mountaineer brothers. It hurts all the fans. It hurts, the guy down there going to the coal mine this morning. He don't get no Labor Day off. He's laboring.
Laboring.
Right? So,
absolutely.
But we, like you said, we played. If we can play like that, game in and game out, and improve each time we come out, and got those younger guys getting some playing time. These next two games, Kansas, we ought to demolish, and Towson State. Come on. But that means that you get a lot of those younger guys much needed game experience and playing time, so that when those moments do come, and I need number two in there, we lost our starting corner early.
Yes.
You don't think that hurt a little bit? So that backup's got to be ready. So, we got a lot of football to play. And I'm with you. I'm as optimistic. Of course, you and I are optimists. We're always looking at the silver lining. And again, if they can play with that intensity, prepare. Now, they had like a month and a half to prepare for Pitt. They got to get ready for this one, like right now, and lick their wounds and forget about the Pitt game. It's not the whole season. It's rough because it's so much goes into it that if you do lose, it's like, have you ever been hitting really hard in the stomach and you double over and you're like, oh, you can't catch your breath? But you got a game coming this Saturday. Your house. Come on. And under the lights, first time in I saw 4 years or something. They haven't had a night game there. They're golden it out. The stage will be set. And what they need to do is put it together and decisively beat the crap out of Kansas. And you know what? We'll forget a little bit about the Pitt game because that's a Big 12 victory. And then we'll blow Towson State off the map. Boom. And then we're going to go to Virginia Tech, all right, which is a huge rivalry. Again, you and me with the rivalry stuff. I'm so tickled we're playing those two games. But all of our goals are intact. Everything's still there for these guys. So,
absolutely.
Light them up. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Listen, I got to have you back on here, man. I got to have you back on here, and I will have you back on here. So, in closing, I got about 2 minutes. In closing,
all right.
What advice would you give? What advice would you give a student athlete when it comes to picking his school? What advice would you give him?
Picking a school?
Yes.
Wow. You know what? I've always said that at the end of the day, it's got to feel good in here, in your belly. Facilities change, coaches come and go. With the portal the way it is, players come and go now. I think it's got to feel good. You gotta picture yourself there, and the game's changed. Now the landscape's changed. I'm one of those guys, and you experienced a transfer, and it's a big adjustment. But it's an adjustment that sometimes has to be made to get that feeling, that really good feeling in there, And if you don't have that good feeling, then you need to go find it, because the window of this time experience is very, very narrow. And you got to get everything you can out of it, because all of a sudden one day you're going to look in the mirror like me and go, holy crap, I'm turning 60. So, it goes quick. So get that good feeling and go there for all the right reasons. We can't go in blinded. You got to go. And I'm going to tell you something. Football ends real quick. Get a degree. Get an education. They're paying for it. Get an education. Get your degree, so that when that moment does come and you walk away from the game, you can walk right in to the next step in life. Don't hang it all on that one thing, because it ain't worth doing. You got to make sure you're prepared for life coming up.
Joes, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
I love you, man.
Love you too. So, let's
tell your missus I said hello, will you?
I definitely will. Let's end this thing as we know we should, with a "Let's go Mountaineers."
Oh,
let's go
Mountaineers.
All right, brother.
Love you.
See you later. Love you too. Well, as you can hear and as you can see, man, Brian Jozwiak is one of a kind. You talk about him being just who he is, as far as being so authentic, man. I really enjoy having people on my show that they speak from the heart, and the core of who they are spills out. When you just ask them questions and you're talking about information, it becomes real important for people to hear. So it's always a pleasure to have great guests on. And each week I'm going to try to bring you people that are very informative in what they do and how they say different things, so you can get something out of each guest that comes on my platform. So once again, I'm Eugene Napoleon. Relatively Sports with Moi is my show. We're up every Wednesday with a special guest. And next week will be just like this week. We'll have another guest on, and you will learn from it. Listen, enjoy the rest of your week. Be blessed. I'll see you next week. Take care.